Well, hello everybody. This is Callie at the Adobe Abode, and welcome back if you're a returning visitor. If you're new here, this is the 8th and final video in a playlist that I will link right there. In that playlist, I go through the making of this journal. This is actually going to be a Psalter that I'm going to use for Bible study notes and praying through the Psalms. And in this video, as you can see, I have finished the cover decoration. So I just wanted to show you the process in how I do this. That's what this video is going to be about, but check out the playlist and watch the whole process. But for right now, I'll show you the cover. Of course, I have my little strap that has a little band to hold it right here. And then I've got a little flip down envelope like this. You can see that's a functional envelope right there. And then of course it's got the pen pocket, which fits a Pigma Micron, which is probably the pen I'll be using in this. And then I've got the nice little plate with Psalms, and then of course my little window decoration. And so, oh, the other thing I wanted to mention before we get started doing this cover, I was doing some Christmas shopping on christianbook.com the other day, and they had a really good sale going. I actually was able to pick up a study Bible. It's the Apply the Word NKJV study Bible. I was able to pick that up for 10 bucks. I'm not sure if it's going to get here before Christmas. You know, this is what happens. I go Christmas shopping and find all kinds of stuff I like. But anyways, I ordered a few things there, and I'm probably going to be doing a haul video. That's probably what we will have for next week, and I'll show you that stuff. But otherwise, I just wanted to mention that in case you want to go check out their sale. Now would be a really good time as we kind of prepare for the new year, what our Bible reading and Bible study plan is going to be for the new year. Now we'll jump into how I created this cover. Now we're going to decorate the cover. As you can see here, I got some stuff out on my desk. I've been putzing around with it, which is sometimes what you have to do to figure out how you're going to assemble anything that's kind of collage-like. Sometimes you have to do a lot of putzing to figure out how to make everything work. And I kind of have an idea of what we're going to do. So first of all, let me move some of this out of the way. So the first thing I'm going to do I want to lay this fabric down. It's going to be something like that. We're going to put Fabrifix on my beautiful cover. It's a little scary. We'll do a little at a time. Not going too heavy because this is really just holding this fabric up here. And again, with my knockdown technique, we'll do that and get that fabric down. Now with this, I'm fine if the edges are loose. That adds to the charm as far as I'm concerned. Okay, now the bottom. This is going to be holding on some stuff, so we don't want to go too light, but also don't want to go too heavy. Okay. Ooh, I overshot it right there. That's okay. Oh, you know what I need to do? I'm about to mess up. About to mess it up already. Now, like I said, I messed around with this a little while. You could say I pre-putzed it. I figured out what I want. I kind of laid it out. So, that's going to go like that. I know, it looks crazy. It's going to be fine. Okay. And then while we're at it, we can go ahead and glue down this doily. I would normally use art glitter glue on thin paper, like a little doily like that, but because I'm gluing it to fabric, I'd rather go ahead and use the Fabrifix. Now with this, I want it offset just a smidge. Anything that's a collage type of thing is such a personal thing, but there are some tips that can help you do a better collage or help it look a little better. One of those is never let your lines match up. You can see my envelope doesn't match up with the fabric here. My doily isn't on here straight. Offsetting all of that stuff gives you a more sort of collage type look. And so that's really helpful. Now, now the next thing I want to add here, this is a piece of leftover from the strap. I'm going to put actually a pen pocket right here, but I don't want it that big. I want it something like that. About like that. Okay. couple other things I'm going to do here with this fabric. Of course, this is just me eyeballing the actual length. I have no idea what that is, but I do want it to be square. So now I have this. So that's going to end up being a pen pocket right there. And then I have another little use for this. But right now I'm going to, well, let's do this. First of all, you can see where I had this folded before. I'm going to need those fold lines again. Just like that. And then all I'm going to do just eyeballing it. I hope that's pretty straight. Yeah, good enough. It's not even close. Hold on. Yeah. When you're kind of trying to put your plan together and sort of lay everything out, another tip that's super helpful is take pictures with your phone so you can remember where everything goes. That helps a lot. And then I'm going to run this over to the sewing machine, but first what I'm going to do on my little pen pocket here, I'm going to create a little strap. It's going to go across there so that I have a little strap for this to go into. About like that. Okay, now for that little strap, press this down. Something like that. Do the same thing here. Okay, I've got you zoomed in pretty close. You can see I just ran stitches right around that, not really caring too much about it being sloppy or whatever. It's a good thing. So there's the little pocket. This is going to be the little strap, and it's so crooked. It's so crooked that it's silly, but you're going to see it's not going to matter. It's going to be just fine. I have one more little bit of sewing to do, but before I do that, I want to show you how I'm going to make this all work. Okay, so I put my 2 little dots on there earlier whenever I was working with this. If you can see my little dots on there, there's one right there and one right there. So that's kind of the width measurement that I need. So now what I'm going to do is put just a little slice in this fabric. And working with the faux suede is so nice because it's fabric, it sews like fabric, it cuts like fabric, but it's not going to fray like fabric. Okay, let's see. Is that going to fit? Nope. And the more patchy this is, kind of, again, it will add to the charm. At least that's what I tell myself. Okay, that's going to go in there. That's going to go in there. And so that can go just like that. Okay. What I'm measuring for there is the slack in this. I want there to be a little bit of slack in that so it's not too tight. Okay, I'm going to go sew this. I'll be right back. Okay, so here's my little pen pocket with my little, I don't know, strap, retainer strap thing. Now on the back here I have a little excess. You can go ahead and trim that off. Trim that off. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to glue that on just like that. I'll give it just a little bit of a bend when I glue it so that it's a little more pocket-like. And I'll be using Fabrifix. Now, I also need a button right here that I didn't sew. So now I'm going to have to take my whole journal over there, set it down all awkward so I can sew the button on. I'd much rather have it sewn than glued. I could just glue it. That button is sewn on. I got to start thinking ahead. And the other option I didn't mention that I could have done is sew this button on by hand. I don't know, that's probably way more than I want. This is going to have a little tie. For that. I'm going to leave this a little long in case I need to adjust it after I do more decorating. We're going to use some vintage photo on this. And on my finger, apparently. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's better. Then I have these little quotes. Yeah, like that. And then I think instead of the vintage photo, I'll go back to the ground espresso. Okay. Something like that. Right. Now for this, shoo, we can finally switch to some art glitter glue. It's much more of a pleasure to work with. Okay. One of the things I was explaining apparently to myself because I didn't turn on the camera was if you start gluing things down then you realize you want stamps in places. I have this little plastic ruler and like this surface, I mean the pocket's a little lumpy, but if you lay that down on there, that becomes a nice hard surface that you can then work with. Now, okay, have to avoid the button. There we go. Okay. Take our art glitter glue. That will dry clear once it's completely dry. Card I want to put in here. Back to the ground espresso. Only recently got the actual little inkers. For the longest time, I think I still have it. For the longest time I used this poor thing. But it got where it was flaking off into my project, so. They work though, for a good long while. Did that for a long time. If you can't get all of the supplies and everything, You can use cosmetic sponges, they work just fine. That's some pretty heavy ink, but that's kind of what I want. Okay. Now, oh yeah, that's good. Okay. These little flowers are going to be very prone to falling off, getting pulled off, getting caught on stuff. So for these I'm going to use some Fabrifix. And right there. And one right there. Oof. And one right there. If you haven't seen this before, this is UV resin. It dries with a UV light. Okay, I think my label plate is most of the way dry. Now we're just gonna, you guessed it, Fabrifix that on there. Oh yeah, right there. Just like that. So I was over in the paper crafts section, and they have a little pack of sort of like window frames or frames that are cardboard frames. They're great. They're already kind of colored. And that pack of them, I think it was a pack of maybe 5 or 7 of them, something like that. And it was $7.99. But then I turned around and sort of catty corner to that is the dollhouse section. And I found these, in the dollhouse section a pack of 3 for 99 cents. So that's what I went with. Now, I tried this chalk paint. That's what I'm going to use. Although, I'm going to use this chalk paint. Hopefully you can see that. Focus, focus. Focus, focus. This stuff, I just get it at Walmart. I love the way this turns out, the finish on it and everything. So that's what I'm going to paint this with. Now, still a little undecided about the color, honestly. I may end up painting over this a different color. I don't know. We'll see. So, whew. Okay, stop. Alright, and then I like to just get these cheap little paint brushes, like the kids use them, I use them. Okay, with the rough edges on the wood and the chalk paint and then this sort of cheap coarse brush, I kind of like the way it looked, or I kind of like the way it looks, like it's you know, an old window that's been painted and painted and painted. We'll give that a few minutes to dry. So I'm just gonna edge this here and there. I feel like it needs more. Yeah, I think that works. We'll see how I like it when I dry fit it to the journal. Speaking of which, my hands are always shaky when I try to do stuff like this. Ooh, that was a lot. Looks good though. Am I gilding the lily? I do love the way that looks. Okay, let's see if I can keep from messing it up now. Ooh, there's a good place for some. Wait a minute. Gotta get this rearranged a little better. There we go. Don't breathe. Well, you can breathe. Just not me. Feel free to breathe. Is this the first time you've ever watched a YouTube channel where the person gives you permission to breathe? It's okay for you to breathe while you watch this video. Okay. And what modern paper craft project is complete without some washi tape? Ah. You know what? Hold on. Where do I want to go with this? Clearly, I've had too much coffee. And we'll gild her lily too. This is almost as much fun as inking. Okay, I played around with some music stamps. Does anybody know why you're not supposed to use your distress ink on your stamps? Somewhere I heard that or got that impression. I don't know. I do it all the time and it comes out fine. Ooh, I touched it right there. Oh well. Okay. Let's test it on this paper with this ink. Okay, that's been sitting for a few minutes. Just a couple minutes. Doesn't look like the ink's gonna bleed or that it's gonna make the paper too dark. This stuff can be found on Amazon. Just look on Amazon for UV resin. And then the expensive part is really the flashlight. I had this for gardening, actually. It's a good way to find tomato hornworms. But you need a UV flashlight for it, or a UV light of some sort. Okay, our little window I think is about done. Really got to be patient with this. Probably took about 15 minutes or so. Just moving this little flashlight around on here. This stuff does not set up in 30 seconds with these little, like, low-powered UV flashlights. It just takes a little longer. And they do go ahead and harden up. Did this one before and it's solid. This one's still a little wet. They get really messy on the back, you know. But yeah, I think it's dry enough to go ahead and glue it down. Alrighty guys, that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it inspires your creativity. And until next time, we'll be talking to you. Thank you so much for watching.